The Jesus Trilogy, Book 2, Then There Were Two, Chapter 45, Part A. Spring was in the air. The wild flowers graced the Judean hillsides as an artist's brush would cover a canvas. The sun was hot the first day of April. The light breeze and a near cloudless sky bode well for the rally. The Galilean hillside was already beginning to fill with Hebrew faithful. Thanks to Ching's political machine, Judas had won a Senate seat from the 28th district, that is, the Nazareth district. The campaign was filled with innuendos and blatant lies, but Judas defeated Matthew, the tax collector, by a narrow margin. A count and recount kept the winning vote margin at 24, very close for more than 10,000 votes cast. Abdullah, Judah's campaign manager, had made sure of the victory by buying off some of the old line party bosses. Some said he even bought off Herod, but no one was really believing that. Despite all the hoopla, Ab skillfully had kept the word Messiah in a low but audible key throughout the 3-month campaign. The platform was based on winning not only local but national support for Judas as a new party leader. Judas handled things very well, for someone Ching had said had no backbone. Ching had wanted someone other than Judas to run, but Ching's untimely death opened the door, and Ab helped Judas walk right through. Judas, to his credit, ran a spirited campaign. He used his recent sports accomplishments to promote his notoriety and never say die attitude. Judas even went door to door and held little children on his lap, both tasks he hated, but he kept his smile on through all of it. He focused on the prize and did whatever it took to secure it. Gentile was right by his side the whole way. She was very proud of her man and stuck with him despite still having a severe crush on his friend Jesus. She loved money and the sudden fame, but above all she loved the newfound power her husband had. She dreamed of someday being the Prime Minister's wife. First Lady of all Judea, Queen Gentile, had a nice ring to it. She knew the fame would kill the love between she and Judas, but the power for love was better than an even trade. Despite her gains, she still would lay awake nights thinking about the man she really loved. She imagined him a slow and passionate lover, unlike her Judas. Judas got what he wanted, and that was that, but it mattered to her now, even though she was a woman of power. Johnny and Cherise were invited to the rally. They were openly a couple, despite Johnny's being married to Diana and having a lovely baby daughter. Johnny and Cherise were seated together on the front row below the stage as honored guests. Jesus was there too. Mary couldn't make it, as this was Sunday. Gentile's doing, no doubt, Jesus thought. He thought correctly. The rally would most assuredly run into the evening hours. Barabbas and Dorian also attended, but were not on the front row. Roe had died in prison in early March, as he himself had predicted. Barabbas and Dorian did get to the rally early to get a close-up seat. They were curious about this new senator, the Messiah. Barabbas had by now built up 6 points into a reasonably strong organization. He did have his father's talent for organization and leadership. He now had replaced the old guard with the new guard. He, Dorian, the traveling merchant Nathaniel, the weapons specialist Omar Jr., the people specialist Stephen, and the old and experienced Uz. All would be at this rally except Uz. Only Barabbas and Dorian were exposed as themselves. Their others were in various disguises. Mary and Jesus' mother and Ab were now a very significant item. Jesus was still not happy about it, but had little control over the situation. Jed, Josh, and Rach weren't around home much, and Jennifer adored Ab. Seeing this, Jesus felt the situation was not entirely bad. But he still had trouble with the idea of his mother living with a man other than his father. She had told him how lonesome she was, but he still didn't like it. He just could not get over the hurdle. What would Dad think? He asked himself this question over and over, but he could already see he was in a losing battle. So he tried to make the best of it. Judas was very, very nervous this day, as he was wont to be in all of life's difficult situations, save for sports. When he was on the gridiron, his psyche switched to a different mode altogether. Gentile kept calming him as best she could. Ab had even hired a speechwriter to write Judas' speech. He would not speak until near sunset, and Ab and Gentile knew it would be difficult at best to keep him even somewhat relaxed for that long. But they would do their best. Before Ching passed away, he had begun to school Judas on the Buddhist art of meditation. But Judas was not a fast learner. Ching had thought Judas had made some progress, at least at certain times. Nathaniel, dressed in a janitor's uniform, came and sat behind Barabbas. Dorian was off picking a few flowers up on the hillside overlooking the lake. The land they were using was Peter's. He had graciously allowed the rally to take place on his property. It extended all the way down to the sea from his home. He did ask for and got his price. He was now accumulating some wealth from his fishing business, along with the sons of Thunder, James and John. They had an exclusive deal with Ab's fish market. Judas, of course, took his cut. Ab knew this, but let him do it. Judas was making the syndicate more money than he was skimming. And Ab didn't want to put any more pressure on his new star than was already there. Barabbas, Nathaniel said. What? Don't use my name, Chief. You'll blow my cover. What shall I call you? B. Cole. What's that? My undercover name, Nathaniel said. Whatever. How's the group coming along? Shh, not so loud. Well, we're all here, all but us. Where's the old man? Too much heat. We have to protect him. We need his experience. What about today? Anything going on? Nathaniel brandished a huge knife under his black robe. The blade gleamed bright under the sun. Put that away, you idiot. How'd you get that in here? How did you get through the search police? Under the fence. Good man. How is the merchant business? When is your next trip? Good, good. Say, I keep forgetting to tell you, I've got some real nice vases for sale. They are of Ming origin. What's Ming? Come on, speak Hebrew. Ming is the finest china in the world. Too bad old Ching is dead. He might like one. I expect not. Talk to Ab. He is soon to have a new bride. It'd make a nice wedding present. I doubt Ab or Mary would appreciate them. You know any other Chinese? You never know. And no, I don't know any other Chinamen. If you come across any, let me know. Now, what is it you want to tell me? Well, as I said about 4 months ago, I picked up this sack of vases in Tashkent. Well, I headed out to the west, but I got suspicious that I was being followed. As it turned out, there were 2 men in my caravan following me. I got within 20 miles of Damascus. We were to arrive the next night. That evening, as I was sleeping, someone stole my camels. I reported to the caravan police, but of course they couldn't do anything. I scouted around myself and found 3 of them, packs all torn apart. They were standing by the watering hole some 300 yards from the main camp. You know how we all camp together to protect each other from predators and robbers. So, Nathaniel looked around to make sure no one was nearby. Well, I packed everything up as best I could in order to stick with the caravan to Damascus. Across the aisle from Nathaniel and Barabbas, a different conversation was taking place. Did you get it? Anything? Some, but he's got a slight accent, just getting bits and pieces. We pay you a tidy sum, and I give you far more than what I get in return. We need facts, Rodrigo, not just hearsay or guesses. You call this fact? He looked at the notes of his professional lip reader. I'm doing my best, but I can't get everything. I want it all, his employer said in a soft, deliberate voice. We're paying you for results, and only results. I'll keep trying. He scribbled some more notes in his notebook. Meanwhile, Nathaniel continued his narration. Well, anyway, I'm sitting in my veranda sipping my drink in the sun, and up walks my 4th camel, Joe Camel. His pack was intact and untouched. I couldn't believe it. Joe Camel? Barabbas said, a wry smile on his face. Must have been taken with the others. Aren't they tied together? Yes, but here he turns up with rein intact and the pack's untouched. I still can't believe it. I don't know either, but let's get those vases in the safe. They might be worth something after all. We still haven't got any leads on that million. I'll get them over to us tomorrow before I leave. He can put them in his underground basement safe. What'd you say that camel's name was? Joe. Joe Camel, Nathaniel answered. At about 1 p.m. the band started to play. They roped off the area on the hillside, and it was about half full. Up the road a half mile from the gathering area, a contingent of Roman soldiers, 100 strong, sat on their horses ready to act at any time if needed. Ab had hired Hebrew security for the event, but had also mixed in a few of his own watchdogs. A number of them were from Ching's elite squad and were capable of a lethal attack when necessary. Ab didn't want anything to happen to his new superstar. The first speaker was an old but well-respected senator from Nebo. Very few in the crowd paid any attention to him. The next speaker was a rabbi from the local Nazareth Sanhedrin. There were several of his cohorts in the crowd to monitor the proceedings. A presence of Herod's guards and a contingent of the SL were also inconspicuously in attendance. Barabbas picked out the dark-robed SL as if they were wearing flashlights, but in general things remained fairly orderly, despite the fact that the new senator from Nazareth was making quite a splash. The local press was there, but in addition there were some national newspaper reporters and even one from Rome. The Roman Signet had run a short blurb the week before, albeit to mock the senator, touting the new young senator as the Hebrew Messiah. Despite the mocking, all the factions were keeping a close eye on things should they escalate. The speakers were allotted 20 minutes each, and as the afternoon droned on, the crowd grew. It eventually got so big that it could not be accommodated by the roped-off area, so the area was expanded. There was no entrance fee as such, but a 20-pence donation was accepted. In fact, the gate people made it mandatory. It was another 10 pence to park your horse or camel. The crowd was much larger than anticipated, the result as much by the wonderful weather as by the desire to see the new senator.